What's going on, everybody? This is your man, Mike Deloach, here bringing you some content of a black man in New Mexico. So today we will give you that local's perspective. And today we have in the house Miss Cristal. Come on, do you say how you say your last name?
Granados.
Granados. Yeah, he actually rolled that. All right, Crystal. So just to start this thing off, so you've grown up in Albuquerque your whole life?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so what part of town would you say you grew up on?
The South Valley.
South Valley.
The South Side.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
So South Valley. So there's the South Valley, then there's the North Valley. So if you're comparing the two, what would people say about the South Valley? What's the thing that people say about the South Valley?
I always hear bad things about the South Valley, actually.
Oh, wow.
I guess I would just... more of the drug dealers on that side.
Okay.
People robbing. All the bad stuff on the South Valley.
Gotcha. So it's more like hood on the South Valley.
Definitely the hood.
I got you. But it's not just like apartments, it's houses. It's like houses and housing communities and everything.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. So, being that you grew up in the South Valley, what school did you go to? What did you graduate from?
I didn't go to a South Valley high school, actually. I went to Albuquerque High, but I went to Polk Middle School, which is like one of the worst middle schools in the South Valley.
Okay.
And then Mountain View for my elementary. But for high school, I definitely went to Albuquerque High. The South Valley High School is Rio Grande, and I would always hear bad stuff about it, and I'm just like, no, not doing it. But
I got you.
Yeah.
So it's the stories that you heard about Rio Grande that made you want to go to a different school?
Pretty much. I guess it would just be the environment that Rio Grande High School had.
Uh-huh.
I would always just hear about shootings, people just the environment at Rio Grande. I had all my cousins go there, and they would always have like ditching parties and stuff. So my mom was like, no, not going there. And she was all up for it to take me because to go to Albuquerque High, she would have to drive me there every day.
Right.
And she was totally not about it. So I pretty much forced her to take me there.
Okay.
But I didn't actually graduate from Albuquerque High. But
Okay.
my first 2 years of high school was there. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now going to Albuquerque, how did y'all have to play against Rio Grande as far as in sports and stuff?
To be honest, I didn't even pay attention to it. But most of the time, and they would beef a lot when it would come to like sports, but I wouldn't even pay attention to none of that.
I got you. So now that we're speaking on school, and again, if you don't know, like I said, we've mentioned as far as the channel is, basically about experiences, in a sense, with black people in New Mexico. So being that you grew up here, went to school here, were there many black students at your school?
No, I would want to say like elementary and middle school. I would say maybe like even one or two black people. And it's so weird because all I could recall is the black people always being treated crappy, or just calling them the nerds. But when it comes to high school, I also don't even remember seeing too many black people being there. And if it was like the football players and stuff.
Okay, so more into the athletes. Okay. So what do you remember your first encounter with a black female or a black guy? Do you remember your first encounter?
It was my middle school days. I would always hang out with like my Mexican friends, but when it would come to like me getting on the bus, I would always have to sit up in front because there was these black girls that they would try to be friends with people and then betrayed them. It got to a point where they were wanting to jump me. They got like their friends, and my mom would come to the bus stop to pick me up and defend me because I was like, no, like they're gonna beat me up. But yeah, that was like my first encounter with black females, but I don't know. They were. I would always know not to associate with them because it would always come to problems. And I was just like, no, I'm not ever gonna have a black friends. Like, I would always want to, just because the way they express themselves, they're always so wild. They have good conversations, but ever since I had that first encounter with them in middle school, I was just like, nope, not having a good experience with none of them. It was bad. It was like that for, I want to say, like maybe a few months, where I was just like, damn, like, Mom, you have to come pick me up. Like, I don't want to get on the bus. And it was me at one point, and then there was just different people at different points, and that was just them.
Okay. Now, so saying that, like, so I guess my question is, did you ever have beef or any conflict with Mexican girls or Latino girls?
Not really. Well, my friends, I mean, we would always just get along because we would always talk about the same things. Mexicans or Latinos in general, they talk about going to the dances, Mexican dances, quinceañeras, just stuff like that, where it would always just connect. Like, I met my friends, my middle school friends, because one of them was having their quinceañera, and we would always just gather after school to go practice. But I really just never had any, I guess I just never would ever consider it, but I didn't ever have beef with any Mexican people.
Oh, okay. I got you. For sure. Like I said, I just wanted to see if it was like, oh, because, a lot of people say black girls got attitude, so I'm like, okay, is it one of those things where it's like black girls are like that, or, you see, girls who just can be wild, or, express themselves in a different way than others,
I feel like with time passing and me, like, being able to, like, observe people, I feel like, yeah, black girls are definitely, they express themselves differently, and some come off as rude, but it just depends how they say stuff and how people take it.
Right.
Most of the people, they just speak like that. They're just louder, and a lot of people just take it the wrong way. Now that I observe it and now that I see it more, I just don't take anything personal, I guess you would say.
Okay. So now you mentioned one thing too. You mentioned quinceañeras. So like, I was just had an interview with one of my homies, and he was like, he realized that's something that's big in the Mexican culture. So, for yourself, do you see, like, within your culture, people go all out for the quinceañeras, or do they take it lightly, or is something that, no, we gotta do it big for it? What would you say?
Me personally, I didn't have one.
Okay.
But that was because my mom's just never been a party person. But when it comes to all of my cousins, like, yeah, they have huge quinceañeras, and that's just how you said, like, in the Mexican culture, people want, like, the biggest dance floor, the biggest group playing there. Like, it's definitely something that the whole school has to know about, type of thing. So I would say it's definitely something big. I guess it's just people taking it as just transitioning to a woman or whatnot, but it's so weird because back in the day it was like people transitioning into a woman, but now in this generation, like, it's just a party type of thing. Like, it's people that are 10 looking 16 nowadays, so it's definitely different from back then to now.
So with this generation, like, I guess was your mom one of those type of women who was brought up to, I guess, to take care of the home, or this is what you do when you become a woman? Like, would you say, like, she's, I guess, passed those qualities onto you? Were you within that, I guess, generation that understood what a quinceañera means, other than it's just a big party,
I would say yes. My my mom's not like feminine, so she's never really been into that type of things, you know. My mom has taught me more like anybody can do it. It's not just females doing stuff, you know. So I don't know. I guess I didn't have the experience of a quinceañera. Like I didn't know what it meant. For me, it was just a different, like a birthday, you know.
Okay.
Like it wasn't something too big. And one thing that my mom did teach me is that I started winning my things at a very young age. So when I turned 15, it was just like, all right, like I'm 15, you know, it's not really a transition, because she was already teaching me all of this prior to me turning 15.
That makes sense. Makes sense. So I know, like I said, as becoming a woman, you know, you like I said, they teach you how to cook and this and that. But basically, I just want to kind of transition to the food culture here, because one of the things for myself, and one of the things that a lot of guys that I run across when they first move here, hearing the term chili, you know, I remember going to Blake's Lotta Burger, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, do you want chili on your burger? And for all of us, you know, it was like we thinking about chili that comes in a bowl with hamburger meat and potatoes, or kidney beans, and you know, the pinto beans, you know.
Yeah.
So as far as going to get like green chili, what's one of your favorite restaurants that you have to, like, if you want green chili, this is your go-to restaurant?
I'm not a big fan of green chili.
No?
No. When it comes to Blake's, actually, I would go for the green, but it was never my favorite. And then I actually started working there.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to try the red chili. But what's funny is that in the Mexican culture, obviously, it's like the actual red chili and then the green chili. You know, Blake's has like the beef and then the red chili and then the beans. And it's funny to me because they would consider that the red chili. And I'm like, no, this is not the red chili. But I'm definitely not a big fan of green chili, to be honest.
Interesting. So whenever, like, so do you make like enchiladas or like tamales or?
Yeah, it's yeah, but we make it red.
You make
red
it
chili.
red.
Yeah, red chili. No, the tamales, I've never liked the green chili ones. I feel like they're just dry.
Yeah.
But when it comes to enchiladas, it's definitely red.
So let me ask you this, and this is one thing I think I noticed this past year. For Thanksgiving, like, what's on your I guess for Thanksgiving, do y'all have like chili as like gravy, like for the mashed potatoes and stuff like that?
I would say chili's definitely always in the
mix,
but not as a topping. I feel like it's more for like the turkey, to dip the turkey in, but
Okay.
not for the mashed potatoes.
Okay.
But yeah, we always have to have chili. I always have to have chili. Like if I don't have chili with any of my meals, like it tastes too plain.
Interesting. Well, I think that's too like a local thing. You know what I'm saying? I have to have chili with everything, because I think about, you know, growing up in Georgia, I had an uncle, like, it's like no matter what he ate, he had to have hot sauce. And it was like the Texas Pete, but he would put hot sauce in rice, hot sauce in cabbage, chicken, whatever, you name it, he has to have his hot sauce.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, you know, I think that's funny to hear that, because people are like that about their chili, like whether it's red or whether it's green,
Right.
like I need my side of chili.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I've noticed that's something about me that I'm just like, and I don't like the hot sauce. Like when it comes to Cholula, tobacco, like no.
You don't like Cholula?
I like Cholula, but when it comes
Okay.
to like chicken strips, but like not for everything. Like I have to have like actual salsa. You know what I mean?
got
Like not the tapatio. I mean, I love my Valentina, but that's mostly
Okay.
for like quesadillas or popcorn, but
Popcorn.
not with food.
That's interesting combo, tapatio and on your popcorn.
You have to try it. I thought that was pretty common, but
But no, and that's the thing. Like, and I'm glad you talk about these things because, again, like for me and some of the people that I know not growing up here, like they wouldn't even probably think to try anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But to at least have somebody open their mind a little bit and be like, hey, like give this a shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, because people say, you never know what you like. You know what I mean? So, but I've definitely grown to appreciate the culture and the chili for that matter. Where for me myself, if I go to like say Blake's or Golden Pride or whatever, like I'm gonna get something Christmas. I like a little bit of the red and I like a little bit of the green, but I don't think I've quite yet narrowed down like what's my favorite spot to go to. Like I like Sadie's, I like El Modelo. I've been to like Los Guates like
oh yeah.
once. You know what I mean? A lot of people say Los Compadres is pretty good. I've never been there. I think they got a few locations. I think they got one like off of Isleta somewhere. I'm not too sure. Don't get me.
Yeah. I don't know where I'm at most of the time, so.
So, okay, speaking of, so being that you grew up in the South Valley, like, are you still in the South Valley?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still there.
Have you ever lived on any other side of town other than the South Valley?
No, I've actually been there my whole life. I've left Albuquerque to Texas, but I always come back and I'm always
I got you.
there.
Do you ever think you'll leave the South Valley?
I most definitely want to leave the South Valley.
Oh, you want to leave? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I got you. Why is that? Is it still because of what's going on or,
Not really. I guess I've learned to deal with it I guess it's normal for me now. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I know what it is to live in the South Valley, I guess. The South Valley obviously has like its different portions, but where I live, like they know not to mess with us.
Okay.
Like they do something, my mom comes out and they know not to mess with her, so
I got you.
I guess I see what is in the South Valley. I know what I'm surrounded, but I definitely want to move. I want to move out of New Mexico.
I got you.
But let's see when it happens.
So where you got a place in mind where you like to move to, or?
I don't. I always say Texas, but then I'm just saying Texas because of what I'm seeing, like the houses and stuff. Not much of. I've never really thought about a good place where I would like to live.
Texas, there are a lot of black people in Texas.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's my main reason.
So here's a question: Have you ever dated a black guy?
Not dated, no.
Not dated. Has any ever tried to holler, or has there ever been guys that you ran across and been like, caught your attention?
Yeah, definitely. I've always been more attracted to black men.
And now, how would your family feel about that? Like, if you were to bring home a black guy, do you think your mom would trip, or is your mom one of those that feel like you should stay with like more of a Chicano type of guy, or?
When I first started like mentioning it to her, she would be like what type of thing? But I within the years, I feel like she's learned to accept it. Because I always tell her, I'm like, I want you to respect them as if I have a kid. Like if I was to ever have like a kid with a black guy, and obviously my baby's gonna be mixed, so I don't want to. I don't want my family to be talking bad about them.
Right.
So she's took that concept into consideration, and she doesn't say anything now. But when it comes to the rest of my family, I think they would definitely they would question it, type of thing.
I got you. Now, how has anybody like in your family have they dated like outside, or been with someone that was black, or Any aunties or uncles?
No, it's always been just, I guess, within the same culture. I've had cousins date black men, but never to the point where they end up marrying them. It's, I guess it's just like a on and off relationship. But no, I thinking thinking about it, it's all been within the same culture.
And now, would they bring them around for like family events, or was it just like they were doing their thing and would kind of just tell you about it? You know what I mean?
No, it was always more like them doing their thing and telling me about it.
Okay.
Never, they would never bring them around.
And the reason that I asked this is because, I had dropped a video, and well, anyway, a lady made a comment in the fact that a lot of people, meaning women that's not black, a lot of other women from other cultures, seem to date black guys just to see if they're packing, and it's like once they, have that curiosity with the black guy, they tend to kind of go back to their own. You know what I mean? So, for yourself, do you think it's something out of curiosity, or is it just hey, people are attractive no matter what skin tone you are?
I feel like people are attractive no matter their skin color. Like, people have their preference, I guess, but mine has never been a curiosity. It's been more of like me being attracted to them. I've always imagined myself having a mixed baby or a light skinned baby.
Okay. And now, do you see more of that with people that you grew up with? Do you see more Mexican or Latino girls getting with black guys? Do you see more of that these days?
Back in the day, I wouldn't see it as much as now. Like, now it's something like super, super common. Like, maybe not here in Albuquerque or in New Mexico in general, but I've definitely seen it more common where it's like Latinos with black men.
Yeah.
But I don't see it too often. But it's definitely something that's been more common now than back then.
I got you. So speaking of kind of like just dating, like what would you have to say about like the Albuquerque nightlife? Would you say like if you want to find somebody to go out on a date with, could you just go out on the town and run into people, or are you more of like the online person when it comes to meeting people? What's your preferred method of going out and meeting people, or just just going out in general?
I don't know. I feel like back then I was definitely more of the social media person. Like, I would meet the person on Facebook and then I would eventually meet them. Now, no, because now people are sketchy. I would definitely rather, I would say maybe going out to the clubs, that would be at least a beginner. Whether, I guess you can go out, meet people, start talking to them and get to know the people before actually going out. But now it's definitely, I would rather go out, see people, and then meet them like that instead of social media.
Gotcha. And now we was talking earlier too before we got on started actually recording and whatnot. But nowadays, like when guys holler at you, do they tend to ask for the number or ask for Snapchat or ask for the Instagram? Like
now it's definitely asking more for Snapchat, but now people, when you ask for your Snapchat or for someone's Snapchat, it's just like a hit it and quit it type of thing, or just like just trying to mess around with you type of thing, Like, now I don't be giving out my phone number. Like, if you get my phone number, you are special, or you're lucky. Just lucky.
I got you.
But nowadays, I'm just like, yeah, you want my information? Here's my Snapchat. Like, you'll have to work for my phone number. I don't hand it out like I used to back in the day.
But you mentioned Snapchat is for people that's more like hit it and quit it. So even if you do give somebody your Snap, like, would you entertain it? Or you already got your mindset like, oh, they just want to hit it. You know what I mean?
I feel like I definitely have my headset to them, like just wanting to mess around. Like when it comes to Snapchat, I feel like it's never something serious. They back it well.
Well, she said they gotta earn the phone number. So
You gotta earn the
if
phone
they're
number.
able to earn it from Snapchat, then
I'm like, okay, here's my Snapchat, and they're like, why not your phone number? I'm like, because why do you want my phone number? Like, you can still text me on Snapchat, you know. But I feel like me, I'm like, I get their Snapchat, that way I can start seeing what they post. I don't like a person that posts too much. Like, I don't like a person that publishes too much of their life. Like, keep some stuff private, you know. But
You hear that,
I guess
fellas? Go ahead.
you have to, I don't know, I feel like Snapchat gives you a preview of what the person is, you know, before you actually get yourself too in with giving them your phone number.
But I thought that's what like the Facebook did for people, you know, and even Instagram, it gives you kind of like a sneak peek into, you know, how they are. But I guess with those sites, granted now it's going more to the video. Go ahead, sweetheart. What you
well, I was just gonna say, with everyone kind of putting on these fake personas, it gives you a sneak peek into what they find valuable.
I got you.
What they find valuable enough to post about, you know?
Okay.
So whether that's their life or not, they value what they're posting.
And meaning in either or Facebook or Snap.
Yeah, and that's what I was
Instagram
gonna
or
actually
anything.
say. That's what I was gonna mention. Like, it was at like, I don't know, I would just hear it a lot, but it's like, if you hang out with a person and they post you on Snapchat, the first time they see you is because they're trying to get someone else bothered. If someone takes a while for them to post you, it's because it's something serious.
Something that's kind of going. You know, it's funny because I have a one of my coworkers. You know, she mentioned the fact that, you know, she had met this guy on Snapchat, and you know, it was to the point where the guy was wanting her to post them, or could have been vice versa, but neither one of them posted like the other person on their Snapchat. You know, and you know, my thing was like, you know, like you say, either they trying to, and in that case, they were basically either not trying to look as serious, or they had somebody else that they was entertaining, and they didn't want to put on this, you know, persona like, oh, you with somebody, and yeah, would have got that text, oh, you got a boo thing.
Exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. I guess like if you're definitely posting it at the first time or the first time you see them, they're definitely trying to get someone bothered. But that's definitely it. Like me, I wouldn't post like whatsoever. You know, like I would keep you wondering. Like I'm not that type of person. Like if I was to ever post you, like it's because it's definitely something serious. Like me, I don't have Facebook.
Okay.
Like I don't have I had Facebook. But then it started getting, when Facebook first started, it was more of like publishing like important stuff, like important events in your life. People started posting when they would go to the restroom type of thing. And I was just like, no, like I don't like it. Like I just don't like when people post too much, you know, and why are you, I don't know, like I feel like you're just, why do we need to know like some things of your life? Like some people on Snapchat, like it bothers me so much, like they post their pay stubs. Like why do we need to know your pay stubs?
Guys or girls?
Guys. Like it makes no sense to me. I'm like, why do we need to know your pay stub? Like it has no meaning. Like are you trying to make yourself look better than what you are? I don't know. But yeah, like I that's why I deleted Facebook. I have Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat, but even then, like I don't ever, like it's rare when I post something. Like I just go there for entertainment, but never, I guess it's more just to see than to post.
I got you. So as a woman, you don't care what a guy makes?
I feel like it should never matter.
Okay, so you waiting for the love.
Me personally, I'm never gonna depend on a man, and that's the way my mom has always raised me. Like don't depend on someone else, whether it's a man or a female. Like don't depend on someone, because that's how they're gonna get you, either like
kind of trap you.
Okay. Like if they can't, like I don't know, it's why I feel like if he can get me it, I can get me it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna sit down and wait for someone to get me something. If I want it, I'm gonna go get it. You know?
Okay, so you're a hustler, huh?
Definitely. I like my good stuff. I like my expensive stuff.
I got you. So she live fancy, huh?
Yeah.
Again, nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. But that says a lot too, because, like as far as guys, like, and even to those guys that's out there putting their check stubs and, you know, trying to make it seem like, you know, they live in lavishes, because you can still do that without, you know, showing that, you know what I mean, and still be humble within it, other than just trying to, because I feel like that's just bait, and like it's only going to be a certain type of female that's going to be attracted to that, you know what I mean, and for yourself, you know, respect to you, because, you know, that shows that you have that standard. It's like, okay, yeah, you make money, but I make money too, so like, what's next? Like,
yeah, definitely.
You know,
I feel like
else
it's
can we
never, I never take it into consideration, like whether you work or you don't, you know, like, like we all have our situations, like sometimes you can work, sometimes you can't. I've been working since I was 15.
I got you.
So I've been earning my money since I was young, and I just came to the conclusion that like I don't want to sit down and wait off of stuff when I can go and chase it, type of thing, you know what I mean? So
Okay.
I've definitely been working ever since. I'm tired of working, but I'm like, that's what's life about. Like you gotta work for what you want. It's not gonna come by you just sitting around, you know.
And so, as a female here, you know, in Albuquerque, do you find it challenging for females to make money, or do you feel like, you know, like say if a female has that get up and go, she can make some money, you know?
I feel like it's, if you want it, you'll make it happen.
Okay.
You know, my mom fixes appliances.
Yeah.
She's a female, and nothing's stopping her. She definitely gets, like, when back in the day when she was actually working for people, like people would belittle her because she's a female. So I guess they wouldn't expect her to fix the appliance because she's a female, but she would always prove them wrong. Like this woman can do anything. Like anything I tell her, she can do it. And I mean, if you want it, you're gonna go after it regardless. It's
funny, I was actually watching The Simpsons last night, and I just kind of randomly just pick a season and just start watching. But one episode that I ran across was the fact that Marge was doing like carpentry, and whenever she would go to, like, I think she would set up like ads to fix things, and whenever she would go to the people's homes, it was men answering the doors. And so whenever they would see a woman come to the door, they would like turn her down. It was like, no, I'm not having a woman fix this for me. And so what she did was had Homer like be the face of it. So Homer would basically go to the door, talk to the guy initially, but Marge was the one that was actually fixing and doing all the carpentry, you know. So I think it's so funny that you mentioned that, and I was just watching that last night. But even for yourself, I was talking to Sade one time, because she told me about, you know, when y'all had y'all training, there was a question about like write down a skill or something that you can do that nobody may not think that you do, and they had to guess who was who. And you were one that nobody could get, and it was that you know how to change. Okay,
yeah,
talk
automotive.
to me.
It's so funny because I get into this stuff because of my mom. Yeah. Like, so I didn't graduate from Albuquerque High. I actually graduated from this military school.
Okay.
And they gave us the opportunity to like get a certification of certain careers that they would offer, and they offered automotive brake certification, and I was like, well, let's do it, why not, you know? Like, you never know, like, again, females rely a lot on men to go get their tires changed.
True.
And I'm like, what if I get a flat tire one day, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be waiting for someone to come. Like, what if someone's not available? Like, I have to do it myself. And I went into the breaks, and it was just all men except me and this other girl. And eventually, the other girl ended up leaving, and it was just me. And they would just look at me weird. And like middle of the class, I was just like, man, I should have chose something different.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, dang, like it's something that I'm proud of, because not a lot of people would have took the initiative of going and taking that class. I don't remember how to do it, but I have a certification, and I can definitely go apply and become a break changer or whatever it's called. But
I thought that was funny to me when she told me about it, because even today you don't have on your nails and everything, but when I would see you when you would come by, I was like, this girl, she always got her nails done up, you know what I mean? And not no short nails where, they just kind of cut and that little French tip or whatever.
Yep.
Like she got some length to them, you know what I mean? So I never, expected that, you actually certified to change somebody's brakes, you know what I mean? So it definitely shocked me, you know what I'm saying? But, I take my hat off to you because, like my dad was a mechanic, I grew up kind of seeing it as I came up, you know what I mean? But again, you really don't see too many girls who would, but times is changing, so females are definitely into some of those. Granted, I know you're not actually working in automotive, but some females may actually go into that. I used to work at the Walmart on Coors and I-40, and they had a chick, you know what I'm saying, that worked in automotive, and she would get just as dirty as some of the fellas, you know what I mean? So, sometimes you do have those women that, do tend to go into those jobs and whatnot, But, man, I think we're going to try to wrap it up, you know what I mean? But, it's been a pleasure to have you sit down, chit-chat with us, tell us a little bit, about growing up here in Albuquerque and just some of your experiences. And one thing I did forget to ask you before we go, what's your take on like the car culture here? Like, are you into the low riders and stuff like that, or it's if you into it, you into it? What's your thoughts on that?
not too much into it, but I would have loved to live in those times, wearing the Dickies, the Cortezes. I actually bought myself some great Dickies the other day in El Paso.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited to wear them.
Okay.
But no, I've never, I mean, don't get me wrong, I always see them, and obviously, like, I think it's cool because now, like, they have their cholo parties, theme parties. Have you seen? I don't know if you've seen them, but like, yeah, like just a party theme where we get everyone to dress as a cholo, wearing their Cortezes, the high knee socks. Yeah. The higher the sock, the downer the fool. I don't know, but
I got you.
I think it's I like it. I've never been too much into it, but
the higher the socks, the downer the fool. Okay. So you would have been a chola in your past, like,
yeah.
Huh? You think?
Yeah, I think so. I would have been perfect for it.
So is that gonna be this upcoming Halloween outfit? You be a chola?
Maybe, yeah. I can consider it with my Dickies that I just bought myself.
I got you. Well, again, for sure, Cristal. Again, we appreciate you for sitting down and chopping it up with us, and again, just to give us, that locals perspective, because, like I said, when I tell people when I first got out here, I was like, I didn't see too many black people, so, and then the people that I do know from here and, went to school here, like, they tell me the same story. It was only like 1 or 2 black people that went to school with us, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I do believe the black culture as well as the Mexican culture, Latino culture, however you want to chop it up, you know what I mean? We all have, similar backgrounds, you know what I'm saying, and grew up similar ways, and like my homie was telling me the other day, like, it's just time for all of us to come together, you know what I mean? And I think that's part of the reason why I do this too, just so people can know, like, as they say, it's all about that black and brown, you know what I mean? So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, now I see more I see more black people now. Like, now, like, the population here has definitely grown. But yeah, not as much as, or I wouldn't see it as much as I do now, you know.
And real quick too, like being, on the South Valley, do you ever feel the need to go on other parts of town, or everything that you need is right there in the South Valley?
My side of town is actually growing a lot. It's actually becoming, it's just becoming like an area where
It's starting to develop.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually, it has been. Like back in the day, we would have to travel on the other side of the town just to get somewhere or get something.
Or to go to a movie, probably too.
Oh yeah, and now we have a movie theater over there, by Coors. See, it's definitely growing. We're actually getting a Chili's. Like they're building a whole lot of stuff on Coors, where previously I would have to travel like across town to get something or get somewhere.
Definitely, right there on like Rio Bravo and Coors. You know? Yeah, definitely. And shoot, and even I don't know, was it right there like Broadway and Rio Bravo? I don't know, at that area. Well, they definitely built along Rio Bravo too by the 25 and kind of, added extra things and whatnot. But
They made the freeway bigger, or our freeway entrance on Rio Bravo. They just built that this past year. They made it bigger, and then now going towards Broadway, they're actually making a new freeway entrance.
Oh yeah, right there by the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. And then they're building on, granted it's a little further east, but they're on Mesa del Sol too. So I definitely think with the development over by Mesa del Sol, it'll expand, throughout the South Valley as well. You know what I mean? But that's one thing too. I'm glad you mentioned, because again, I dropped a video that New Mexico is growing, so y'all heard it here. In the South Valley, they're growing in the South Valley too, and by all means, there's other parts in the city. But again, Cristal, we'll go ahead and cut it here. We thank you for sitting down, chopping it up with us, giving us that locals perspective. Do you got anything to say to the people before you go?
I don't. I appreciate you having me though. I'll definitely look forward to being here more often, having some chats.
Yeah, we could definitely do some part twos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Definitely, add on to previous conversation, clarify things if we need to. You know what I mean? To those who may get confused about certain things, but definitely appreciate you for having me again. And thank you to Sade. Y'all might have heard Sade a little bit, but that's the lady back there in the back. She kind of chimed in here and there. You got anything you want to say to the people before we go?
Just be safe.
She said, be safe.
Be safe.
We had to be locked up these past 2 weeks. Yeah.
Rough times
It's been hard.
Yeah, take care of yourself and be safe.
Take care of yourself and be safe. All right, guys, you heard it here first. Again, this is your man, Mike DeLoach, bringing you some content of a black man in New Mexico. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to hit the notification bell as well. And when you hit that notification bell, be sure you hit all notifications so that you'll be notified whenever we do drop some interviews like this. They'll be right there, bud. That's my son there in the background, y'all. He ready for me to get done. You know what I mean? But like the video, share the video. Share with your people and converse and tell me what you think. But you already know. Until next time, we'll holla back.